Shalom, Akim. I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakha, Kadash. That honors the elders and apostles of GMS for teaching real well. And salutation to all the Akim, all four corners of earth who's pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom, Akim. I want to get into this Doomsday clock. Last day or two, the news has been pumping us this Doomsday clock scenario out. And now it's 85 seconds to midnight. And here's a little timeline showing you the different years and times. It's getting closer and closer to midnight. If you don't know what Doomsday Clock is, here's a little breakdown. It says it's maintained by the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists since 1947. The Doomsday Clock symbolizes how close humans are to extinction. The closer the clock is to midnight, the closer the world will be to potential disaster. It says the time is adjusted periodically based on factors such as nuclear threats, international conflicts, climate change, and other global risks. Now, we're going to take into perspective that this Doomsday Clock is something that Esau has come out with. This is a part of his witchcraft. This is a part of his propaganda. He has ways of scaring the people. Into believing and feeling in his plans, as well as, you got to keep in mind, this thing came out in 1947. 1945 is when they let the atomic bomb off. So 2 years later, they come out with a clock that's going to judge when they want to try to wipe off humanity off of Earth. You got to realize that this devil has been planning this for some time, man. Like it's a clandestine plan. Him with the small hatters, because Babylon is a small hatter security force. They are in cahoots and believe that they're going to try to destroy the whole planet once they lose control. That's what their whole thing is. Israel said, the small hatters over there said that if they were attacked, if they lost that little land over there, then they were ready to nuke the whole world. That's what their plan is. And they said this numerous times. Benjamin, not a Jew, has said this plenty of times, man. That the world will not be around anymore if they're not around. If they're not in power. So they're throwing these threats out, man. And at the end of the day, you gotta realize the earth is the Lord's kingdom, man. This is paradise. So he's not going to allow Esau to do what he wants to do with it. Esau's been put in power for a short time, man. He's been a whooping stick for us. And his time is up. And the scriptures bringing out, is bringing out just the downfall of Esau for the most part. This is Obadiah 1 and I'm going to start 3. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Though thou dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the Lord is going to have to stop Esau in his wickedness, man. You have to realize that Esau the Lord has gifted him, with the mastery of weapons, man, of the sword. So with that being said, this is why 2 years before he drops his clock, he came out with the atomic bomb. And he's been trying to perfect it ever since then. This was back then was atomic era. Now we're in a nuclear era. So we went from atomic destruction to non-nuclear destruction. So this devil has been nothing but a fucking, trying to destroy everything, man. A waster. But guess what? This is the Lord's show, man. At the end of the day, man. Let me bring this out. This is Psalm 24:1, a Psalm of David. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. So once again, Esau is in a cahoots. He's going to destroy something that he ain't even made. Psalm 24:2. For he hath founded upon the seas and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place? And once again, going back to Obadiah, Esau, tries to set himself up there like the Lord, man. He tries to put himself high in the sky, you know, with the space centers, you know, with his high buildings and stuff like that. Esau's always trying to reach up into the heavens, man. He even had rocket ships trying to go out there. That's another thing that just got debunked right now because of this internet. The rocket ship that crashed back in the 80s, you know, that supposedly crashed. We were watching it on TV. We know how Hollywood works. Come to find out that all the so-called astronauts are still alive with the same names and living in different parts of the United States, man. So this devil's all about games, man. You know, he's all about games. And this when he came out with this Doomsday clock, it was, you know, just showing you, you know, that what was on his mind, man. You know, peace is not on his mind. It's more destruction, you know, more wickedness. And at the end of the day, you got a bunch of different nations here in America that are going to partake in Esau's plan and try to help his wicked works, you know. But they're all going to be foiled by the Lord, man. You know, because once again, this is the Lord's show, man. You know, Esau is just a wicked actor in his show. Revelation and the other heathens too, as well. They play a role. They play a role in it, man. You know, because they kiss Esau's ass. Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunken of the wine of wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. You know, and some of those delicacies, you know, those different philosophies, you know, the homosexual, LGBTQ plus lifestyle that's been taken on here in America, also been pushed abroad, you know, because of the policies that America has with these other countries. You know, these other countries are mad about that too as well, man. Think about that too, man. You come and impose your wicked way upon another country, and they're supposed to be happy with that? No, that's not how it goes, you know. But yeah, this Babylon has a lot to pay for, man. And the pride of them about this Doomsday clock is ridiculous, man. You know. But once again, at the same time, it shows it's a track record of the different things that he did. Every one of these dates, something happened. You know, whether it was a war, like the thing said that the nuclear threat happened, an international conflict, or climate change. You know, whether it be Katrina or some type of catastrophic earthquake or something to hit. You know, all those things are taken into play. But at the end of the day, once again, it's the Lord's show, man. It's the Lord's show. And Esau is just a wicked actor in this place, man. Joel 1:15. Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come, man. You know, so the Lord is the one who's going to be putting down nations, not Esau, man. You know, he goes to war with them, and the Lord puts those thoughts in them. But at the end of the day, you know, when it's time for righteousness to be ushered in, that's going to be the Lord's doing, man. You know, Esau is full of wickedness. He's going to just try to destroy things and continue on in his wickedness. That's not how it's going to go, man. You know, this is his last hoorah. Right here, right now, where we're at right now is Esau's last hoorah. He feels it in his blood, you know, as well as the elites. They know the scriptures, so therefore they get ready to come down with great wrath upon the people on the earth, man. Like the scriptures speak about. And this is why the Lord talks about how he has to set up a great standard, man. You know, because we're not going to be able to fight this devil, man. We need the Lord to fight the devil, man. You know. So you can grab all your guns and ammunition and weapons that you want. It ain't going to do nothing to Esau. Esau has been blessed with the sword, man. So he's masterful at it. This is why you cut on YouTube and you can see his sons and daughters out there tearing the gun apart and putting it right back together with no problem, man. They can go out there and hunt anything in the woods with no problem, man. You know, that's their lot. That's their job, man. You know. But yeah, this Doomsday clock he's come out with, you know, when I was a kid, you know, coming up and seeing this stuff, I always was like, what the heck? How is this? And then when is it hitting midnight? It's been a few years. Why ain't it hit midnight yet? But then I got the understanding of the way of Esau, how he thinks, man. You know, it's all about these different threats and things that happen around the globe. He pushes it closer and closer, man. You know, and once again, is this, you know, saying that he's going to launch off some stuff and he's going to go to war, you know? What is it all actually meaning, man? 85 more seconds till midnight, man. You know? But yeah, man, this is, at the end of the day, you know, this Lord show once again. You know, Esau could talk all the bullshit he wants. You know, when the Lord is going to stop him from just trying to destroy his paradise. But what will be destroyed is Babylon, and Esau's wicked ways will go with it, man. You know. With that being said, I hope this is edifying. Shalom, Maki.